Hello, fellow nerds and nerdettes. You stumbled upon another episode of the Grab Bag from the guys at the First Last of Nerdom. I'm Thomas, and with me is Mike. How's things going? I know you were maybe a little under the weather this past week.
Yeah, unfortunately, I caught the Rona, and I am just now getting out of it. This is the first day two of actually feeling like a normal human being and having just like all this pressure and drainage and all this melt. It's just
You've kind of crawled out from beneath your cave, I guess.
yeah, pretty much, yeah, from the flap sweats and the sick sweats and all that fun stuff. Yeah, I was pretty much buried for like the first 3 days, and then I got better. But yeah, I'm Mike, and I was looking forward to this. We got a huge week for sure, and we got a lot of interesting things to jump into.
Absolutely. I believe so. Yeah, and to get myself ready, and I'm sorry I was a few minutes late joining our chat session. I was going to pump myself up with the Boomer Juice Monster, and I was getting it out of the fridge, and I lightly tapped it on the edge of the fridge, and it sprung a leak. So I had to quickly run and give me a red Solo cup. So this is a Monster, but
awesome.
It's crazy. I've never seen that before. But that's just how crazy this week's been. We're going to do something a little bit different this week. We introduced the Cringe Corner last couple of weeks, and I guess that was fortuitous because there's been a wild nerd-like action going on in the world, and so we're going to double down on it a little bit and revisit our first.
Yeah, you found yours and I found mine. But we'll go to the first one here.
Yep, and not George Costanza, but
yeah, no. Yeah. So you reported last week about this guy, and kind of how he's a walking cringe factory.
yes. Just to catch those of you up to speed that didn't get a chance to see last, I think it was a couple weeks ago, our coverage. We talked about and Cringe Corner is basically where we spotlight something very cringeworthy on the internet, or if we find a cringeworthy movie or comic book, we'll talk about it in that section. But our first dive into it was Deaf Noodles, which his government name is Dennis Fatoza, I believe. And
okay.
Well, he and to give a little backstory on him, we'll get a little bit more into it. He seems to be a bit of a compulsive liar as things have transpired, but he started his internet life off on his channel Deaf Noodles, and basically he covered what the kids call tea, or spilling the tea. He would go talk about the big rumors or news about various internet celebrities and a few real life celebrities. And he actually his channel has 500,000 subscribers, so nothing to sneeze at. We wouldn't mind having something like that on our channel.
Sure.
And he was getting like 100,000 views a video, but things weren't quite good in paradise, because he did cover something. I don't know the full details, and it's not important for this, but he reported something that a troll posted as real news. It turned out, and it was proven that it was a troll, and a troll was making claims against an influencer that didn't actually turn out to be true. But he reported it as truth at the time, and instead of apologizing and retracting like any good channel would, he doubled down and said that, well, he's a comedian, and I quote the quotes there. He's a comedian, and he's not responsible for telling the truth, and that is shame on you for actually watching the channel and thinking it was real. And golly, he's like the next generation of Stephen Colbert. And if you don't get it, you're just not smart enough. And which kind of turned people off, oddly enough. And a lot of people,
you don't
yeah,
say.
a lot of people fell off. And then and not to get too deep in the woods, but we kind of have to a little bit. He did get into a beef with Keemstar, which is another he also covers news on internet celebrities and whatnot. And he has a channel called Drama Alert. And Keemstar made some jokes about Deaf Noodles, and oddly enough, being a comedian, he has a hard time taking jokes about himself. So so he's actually in a lawsuit against Keemstar for slander. And then and he's very obsessive about talking about Keemstar, to the point where his fans on his channel, if you read the comments, they're complaining, stop talking about him, stop talking about him. And if you watch his social media, his views and his subscribers are plummeting to the point where now he's lucky to get 10,000 views at a point where he was getting 100,000. And he also picked a fight with another YouTuber, Papa Gut, and he actually made allegations, or he put his allegations in quotes so he could say it was a joke. He's a comedian. You remember that Papa Gut was a pedophile. So and which is vastly untrue from all evidences. And it got to where Papa Gut had to do a video about it. And he ended up talking about something that happened to his wife, and he ended up breaking down and crying. And instead of Deaf Noodles being a human and being a good person, he actually put the Papa Gut crying on a t-shirt and was selling it, saying he brought a man on the internet to tears. So sounds like a wonderful person, doesn't he, Mike?
Yeah, it definitely sounds like if he ever showed up in the neighborhood, he'd probably have a couple black eyes. For sure. In the real world. But.
And I would positive to say it made me think of Watchmen, and how they have it was more a realistic comic book with realistic heroes and villains.
It was.
And they had a character, a guy on there that was a superhero that turned into a bit of a villain named the Comedian. And I think Deaf Noodles may be the real life equivalent to the Comedian. I think I've gave you a little image for you to throw up there for Deaf Noodles, and when we're not showing video, we could just have that up there.
Yeah, let me pull it up here. Oh boy, hold on one second.
Forgive my art.
Yeah, bear with me here. It's gonna be a moment here. While
no worries. I'll take a little bit of my boomer juice here. But yeah, so while he's working on that, as a supervillain, the Comedian, he his first stab at a heist, a comedic heist to rob everything out of rob the fun out of comedy. He had a roast, a roast battle a couple of weeks ago that we talked about. And so yeah, that's the Comedian. I made him a little bit like the
it's perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah,
he's just a horrible human being of the year for sure. Like multiple awardees tonight for sure.
Yeah, so he had a roast a couple of weeks ago, and he invited all sorts of internet celebrities over to do a roast battle, and no one showed up from the internet, so he had to pull in some of his friends for the roast battle. I call it their heist on comedy. They robbed it of all the funny. They left and all they left on the ground was cringe. They ran off with the funny. They left none for the crowd. And So in a roast, basically you have a couple people, 2 or 3 people, or one-on-one, where they trade insults, and a lot of times you know each other pretty well, and so that you can maybe dig in deep on each other. But it seemed like none of them knew each other, so
Right.
most of it was just basically surface level. And one of the biggest zingers that Deaf Noodles uh, did on another comedian was, "You look like my cousin if he was a female." That was the
Wow.
that was the zinger. That was the joke. That was what was supposed to land and sting them. And and from that, yeah, it didn't get much better. It
Oh,
was basically like a schoolyard one off between a couple of kids in the schoolyard in middle school. A lot of low hanging fruit jokes, and yeah. So after that amazing success of no laughs, he decided to do it again this past weekend. And
wow.
one YouTuber heard the call of Deaf Noodles and decided he would fly out at Deaf Noodles' invitation. His name's Salvo, and he came in, and he showed up. He did a little bit of a live stream before he came on. And again, remember, this guy was invited by Deaf Noodles. Deaf Noodles knew he was coming and that they were going to roast each other. And so Salvo shows up, and he kind of works the crowd. He didn't sit in the audience like a good little boy, which I guess they expected him to. But if you
Yeah, and didn't he put out a thing saying like open house for if you want to come challenge me or roast me or whatever. He
yeah,
put it out like
absolutely,
as a wide open
absolutely,
invitation, like
yep,
as an open general thing, right?
right, absolutely. And
Yeah, yeah.
Salvo on his own dime flew out from Ohio to meet up with them. And and so this is what happens when Deaf Noodles comes out on stage. If you want to play that,
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I can. Oh yeah, I
I
might
think
as well
that's
start
right.
here.
You're right there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was
So
trying to find the one like where he comes out, they come out, and then like you basically get to the heart of the matter.
yeah,
Boom, right there.
boom,
He
right
straight
there.
up
Yeah,
pushes him. Yeah,
boom.
and then
Yeah.
he tries to do that, and then he's like, nope,
Hmm. So
and it kind of turns, and then it'll zoom out another camera view. But this is like
right.
the closest up view that you can get in this
Hmm.
video that like this other YouTuber who,
Hmm. Yeah,
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 and
there,
they just
yeah.
kind of go back and forth. Yeah, this guy repeats himself a lot, so.
Yeah. He's yeah, yeah, shout out to, I forget his name, Too Lazy to Try.
Yeah.
Which I guess to me that name is kind of apropos, but yeah, he covered it pretty well. And at that time there wasn't a whole lot of videos out on this. Since then there's been quite a few updates, so which you may not be familiar with, Mike. So after we finish, yeah, that's the other angle. And yeah, he didn't hold back. He was angry. He
Yeah,
he
he
really shoved him.
basically, yeah, he shoved them off the stage, like he swept them off the stage, like nope, trash, nope, gone, bye,
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah,
yeah.
interesting. And then this always let the thing replay or whatever. Yeah.
And the funny thing is, people, and again, remember, Deaf Noodles, his channel is pretty much a cheat channel. So he talks about all the tea that goes on, and he did talk about the Will Smith Chris Rock slap, and someone pulled that up recently, where he really went in on Will Smith for not being able to take a joke, and to resorting to violence against
Oh,
somebody because they can't take a joke. And then here's
right.
Deaf Noodles, a super villain. Deaf Noodles,
Pretty
the man,
much. Yeah, he
the man
just
of mysteries and lies. Yeah.
yeah, do as I say, never as I do. Yeah,
Hmm.
hypocrite. Uh,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
a garbage. Generally, his actions have been garbage. So like,
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and instead of coming out and playing into it, if he was truly a comedian and had jokes, and he should have kind of automatically just kind of went into maybe a little mini roast with Salvo right then. And he was playing right into Salvo. I mean, Salvo, I don't know much about Salvo. I haven't done a deep dive into him. And so we're not claiming he's a saint. But yeah, all Salvo was doing was saying some things, that maybe it may not be what Deaf Noodles wanted to hear, but no one should resort to violence, And so then I did watch the whole thing. I did watch it while Augie RFC was streaming it, so it was a little bit tolerable just listening to him and a few other people riff on it as it was going on. But if I was just watching it straight, once they got into all the roast, it was as successful in comedy as it was last time. I think one of the missives, there was a couple of people, this lady and this gentleman that I believe was gay. Her slam against him was, "Oh, you're gay."
Okay, so that happened further later on during the show. Okay, like when they had like the audience members come up and like do a little lame little,
yeah,
whatever the F that is, whatever that is. I don't know. It's like,
yeah.
I mean, it looks like it's like literally in somebody's like edition, and they put a house on their house or something, like a garage or something, and then they
and
it's very rudimentary.
yeah, this is Deaf Noodle's office. So yeah, it looks like a little bit of a closet, maybe. I think there's about 50 people squeezed into that location. I don't know how much of a fire hazard that is.
I'm sure it's a code. It could be a code violation unless he follow the law or whatever. But who knows? Maybe he lives out in the middle of nowhere, like where there is no code.
No, it's downtown LA. It's downtown.
Oh, okay.
LA.
Well, no, they definitely have their own thing.
Yeah, and well, they have a fire extinguisher, as we can see on on the
funny.
side there. But off to the left, when Salvo was live streaming, when he came in, there was like a little bar underneath a staircase. It looked like a little where Harry Potter might live.
Oh, that's funny.
A little table and some booze there, and and it was like cash only. And Salvo was yelling, "I can't drink." It's like, where's an ATM? But yeah, so uh so yeah, without Salvo there, I think a majority of the audience, from what I heard, was Salvo's fans.
Yeah, that's what I heard. That's what was reported in this encounter here with Too Lazy to Try.
So Deaf Noodles smartly, and then later on, this lady came out and threw water on Salvo. I guess maybe she was someone's girlfriend of one of the comedians in quotes, and she got mad and came out and threw water on Salvo. So that was the second assault on Salvo that evening. And she actually sprayed the two ladies that were sitting behind him. One of the other ladies, Jessica Pizzle, she was on another stream I saw where she said most of the water hit her instead of Salvo. So she was upset, and she was going to run back there and get onto him, but Salvo kind of pulled her back. So actually, Salvo was kind of keeping things calmer by not inciting a riot, keeping Jessica safe from maybe going back there and making it worse. So
Interesting.
So oddly enough, Salvo, being the troll of the situation, probably he never raised a fist. And then that Corey guy, that heavy set guy that was next to Deaf Noodles, that's on Deaf Noodles comedy team, he seemed to be out there kind of trying to keep calm heads from prevailing. And then they also had a security there, where Deaf Noodles smartly didn't throw Salvo out at the beginning, because if he threw him out at the beginning, more than likely half the audience would have left. So
Yeah.
so he tried to maintain calm as much as possible and kind of pacify Salvo so that he had that crowd there that whole time. But then and then, as you see, he did a little dance where he wasn't going to give Salvo the microphone, and for the longest time he played up the audience and played it up way too long, and then he finally gives Salvo the microphone, and then you can see what happens next. He barely gets into saying what he wants to say, and to be honest, Salvo, once he got the the microphone, he didn't say anything revolutionary or epically funny or not, but he should have had a real chance to be able to speak, and and he did go in on the I think the chant, I think deaf noodles sucks or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, he ends up getting thrown out by security. I think that's coming up here in a
Yeah,
minute.
yeah.
Yeah.
Comes up, yeah. This big dude pushes him out of the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. This is toward the This is like when he just picks him up and just like, yep, that's it. Yeah, he just
Yeah.
picks him up and just pushes him out the
Yeah.
door. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
We're
then the
kind
rest of the audience kind of leaves with him. Like,
yeah.
at least a
Yeah.
good chunk of them anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. And we kind of slowed it down, so it may look like Salvo got to talk for a long while there, but he didn't. He got to talk for maybe a minute before
Right.
security came out and shoved him shoved him out, and then half of the audience left with him, like was predicted, because that was his guys that
Those
were
were
there.
his homeboys.
Yeah.
His crew.
Yeah. Exactly. So Deaf Noodles and Salvo was trending on Twitter afterwards, and Deaf Noodles afterwards did a little YouTube video with him and his homeboys, talking about what a win, what a victory they had, which is strange, very delusional. And also, one thing I didn't mention is also he has a propensity to lie, and one of the lies he said was, for the longest time he said he was 27, and everybody
Oh yeah.
were, and all his references were with SNL and David Letterman and Stephen Colbert, a lot of references that a 27-year-old, that's kind of a stretch for them. It's unless they're really into older television, they wouldn't make those references.
Yeah, that's like I reference Conan all the time because he's the all-time greatest fucking flipping,
Right.
TV show nighttime host period in the discussion. But that's just my personal opinion. I mean, like whatever. But
so
I remember growing up, like in the 90s, even like when I was a kid, teenager, and like seeing the masturbating bear and some very edgy things that you just like grandma and grandpa who were used to Johnny Carson, they just were not.
Absolutely. So but yeah, kids today and kids today aren't staying up watching late night television. So him being 27 just really rubbed people kind of like, that just doesn't add up. And come to find out, he was lying about his age. He's 10 years older. He's 37. So that's another stack on the lies, and he just kind of played it off. He couldn't but yeah, so he kind of admitted it and went past that. That was a lie that he couldn't cover up with it's comedy. It's a joke, bro. It's a joke, bro. So then he actually tweeted out a little video of him on Saturday, where he was in Las Vegas, in a Las Vegas hotel room, and he actually showed the window and showed that was Las Vegas, and he goes, "I'm in Vegas, bro. I drove all night after the gig, and I got a comedy show here in Vegas. Come see me." And I'm with TJLT, and on his Twitter, he had a little ad that showed him with TJLT at the LA Comedy Club, I think it was called, in Las Vegas. And but people noticed when you click the link, it said it was a bad link. It says there's nothing here, and so people were like, what's going on here? And so Augie RFC, he actually called the club, and the club said, yeah, we've got a couple of calls. I don't know who this Dennis guy is. The comedy club had no clue. And he said that he was supposed to come on at 11 or 11:30. He goes, yeah, no, we don't have it. He goes, sometimes comedians think that they're invited, and they'll come on for about 5 minutes as a little nod to them, but yeah, we have no clue who this guy is. He was never booked for this. So in now Dennis is supposed to be this stand-up comedian that's been doing comedy for 15 years, and is this another is this another lie? And this our supervillain, the comedian, he's stealing all the jokes and leaving them unfunny.
Pretty much, like wherever he goes, you're not going to see anything funny.
Yeah, and then and as a response to this, what Dennis said was, oh, there was 300 incels that called the comedy club, and they canceled my show because they didn't want to deal with it. And it's like, what? Come on. Yeah, we've got it from the source, the guy that owns the comedy club, saying, yeah, we got a couple of calls.
Right,
a couple of calls, and I think another one that called was Nicholas Diorio, another commentary guy that's been kind of pressing Deaf Noodles' buttons. But there's, and again, this is and also his former assistant, I forget her name, but she just put out a TikTok a day or two ago promising a longer story, but she quit, saying that he was progressively acting crazier and crazier. She couldn't deal with it. The last time they went out and filmed was Burning Man, and he didn't bring any water or any anything with them to make the shoot somewhat reasonable. And she had to film him out there, and that was one of the bad things that happened to her. But yeah, she promises for a long in-depth story about him later on, so that could be interesting to watch. And also in the comments of his second roast, some of his fans, or it may not be his fans, whoever, some people were commenting, and they were alleging, and this is an allegation that random people are saying on the internet, so you know how valid that is, but they're claiming that he was on coke during the second roast, and that he should put away the coke, the cocaine, but but to be honest, I watched the whole thing. He was such low energy outside the shove.
Yeah,
he was very low energy, and yeah, and he let his guys, his fellow comedians, his henchmen, if we're playing into the supervillain thing, his henchmen do most of the work, and most of them were ragging on Salvo the whole time, as Salvo sat in the audience without a mic the whole time, unable to defend himself. But yeah, so I believe that covers everything I wanted to cover on Deaf Noodles today. There's plenty of videos out there. If people out there want to do a deeper dive, they sure can. And this, I call him a lolcow in the making. I think he's at his, I don't think he's reached his apex yet. This is a guy to watch. He's going to most likely burn out in a blaze, and that's why I put fire behind him. I think and not really stoked up yet. They're just kind of rippling flames, and because I think he's gonna burn the whole thing down. He's like I said, he's really destroying his channel, all in the name of his roast. And I don't know if he'll make it. He's doing a roast every 2 weeks is what he guarantees, and I don't know if we'll get a third one.
I wonder what his real career is. I mean, or what, maybe not career is the wrong one, but what his normal day job is, aside from being an unfunny fuck. But
I think he's on the payroll of mommy and daddy.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what it is. He does, and it has been proven that he was born in Brazil, so he's actually
Oh, okay.
Brazilian, and he moved to New York when he was
Oh,
12, I believe.
if yeah, if
I
he's a
know way too much about this guy. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
if he's a foreigner, he'll just be oblivious to like the entire thing in front of him, like where he'll just keep walking around, shredding his feet. What an idiot. Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. So that's your cringe corner this week.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think you have one. We're both familiar with Atozi. Just before you go in on your thing, I was introduced to Atozi because back in 2020 when the pandemic broke out, I got heavily into commentary and T channel. I
Oh,
dove headfirst into internet drama and especially YouTube drama. And
oh God, yeah. Oh
yeah,
yeah.
and Atosi was one of those guys that was naturally funny, and you'll get into it. But at that time, I he wasn't he was young, and he hadn't quite fit what he was to become. There was I could see where he was going with his channel,
Sure.
but he wasn't quite there yet. And then I watched the video that you are going to talk about, and he's much more polished, much better. And I've watched a few more videos since then, and he's going to be on my regular watch on things that I'm curious
Oh
about.
yeah. Like he's already hit the main algorithm when I discovered
Oh
this,
yeah.
and kind of like I just had a whole string of Atozi videos, and like I think when we were just talking there, and like we're talking about this and that and whatever, this is he reminds me a lot of like what Talk Soup was. If you're back in the day and you
Oh
watched
yeah. Hmm.
we're talking like D-list, but actually was A-list. I mean, it became kind of like a popular enough thing of like it was like a D-list entertainment kind of thing. But anyway, like with Joel McHale and all those guys, and anyway, but like he has a natural thing. But anyway, moving on to like what it is for sure is um so, and I discovered this from, that's not the one I quite wanted. Okay, CopyZilla. So I found this indirectly through you, because you introduced CoffeeZilla, that does just all he does. His spiel is very, I would say, very high quality cryptocurrency. The cryptocurrency verse essentially is like his thing, and he'll go down and he'll do da. Anyway, he told me the story, and I was like, okay, cool. So like then all of a sudden it was so funny. Then the algorithm was like, "Oh, well, then you got to see this and this and this and this and this." And then like I ended up watching, eating it up. And so the basic premise is like this guy, really to kind of draw the bow back and shoot through this whole thing. Basically, Atozi called out this other Bitcoin guy,
Crypto
and
Burrow,
was,
or what was his name?
I
Uh,
don't recall, but that's
Bit
what I was
Boy
trying
or
to
something
find.
like that. Yeah, I think it was Bit Boy or something like that. He's a
Yeah,
uh,
here it is. It's Bitboy. Yeah,
Bit
Bitboy
Boy,
crypto. Like
Bit Boy
so.
Crypto.
Anyway, so
now,
anyway,
now,
so
now, if we're talking about super villains, that's
right.
another super villain
This
name,
guy's an
Bit Boy
idiot
Crypto.
supervillain. Yeah, no, he's absolutely, you're right. This guy is a supervillain too. YouTube supervillain for sure for Bitcoin and all this. And anyway, YouTube culture. Anyway, so this guy basically put out repeatedly he would be promoting basically a big ass advertisement for some kind of cryptocurrency thing you should pump and then dump or whatever.
Yeah.
And he did this. He ended up deleting some of these videos. And of course, these things that he's hawked in the past that he sold as a front man for it, not necessarily like he was paid money to basically pump this thing up as a what do they call that? A barking carnival guy or
Yeah.
whatever. Like, but
Yeah.
he would be hawking this stuff and then pumping it up, and then it would go nowhere.
Mhm.
And God help you if. And then he had this thing like where he's like, "But I don't do financial advice." but he does do financial advice, but he doesn't do, kind of like how Deaf Noodles is like,
Yeah.
but I'm a comedian.
Yeah, I
Not
do.
really.
I do news until I get it
Right,
wrong, and then
but
I'm a yeah. Yeah,
so like
exactly.
there is, so the as far as morality goes, like there is no true honesty in any of this. I would say this guy's a little bit more on point with reality than say Deaf Noodles is. Like where Deaf Noodles is like
Right.
just like reality happens and he just fucking lies his ass around everything, you know,
Mhm.
whatever. Like kind of like that reality distortion field, you know, like you just don't, you just pretends he didn't see it or whatever, or doesn't acknowledge it, and it's always a new day, and you know, whatever, blah blah blah. Anyway, so this guy decided to bring and Atosi went after this guy, and so did Coffeezilla too. But Coffeezilla does it in a different format. He does it in a, well, one, that's his main bailiwick, his main bailiwick. But Atosi doesn't necessarily cover crypto, but he just kind of, he's popped up in the radar and he covered him, and he's just kind of a very quick, fast paced, very you know, lunch hour type video of like why this guy sucks or like what's going on or here's what the story is and whatever. And anyway, Tosi called him a dirtbag, and this guy decided to bring a lawsuit against him, a defamation one, and all this and that. And they kind of go through. Copyzilla goes through the ups and downs of it, really captures it nicely. Anyway, but Atosi basically got hammered with this lawsuit, and he's talking like he's not like some huge big mega anything at all, you know.
Right.
But so
Yeah.
like it's this scary thing, and I didn't know this, but everything that I've heard about him from that point forward though was like, so I went out and I saw this and that, and anyway, Atosi is this very human, very relatable guy, and he's like, look, holy shit, I'm being sued. I don't want to deal with this. He's also his girlfriend. They're also having their first kid.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so
Yeah. I think
he
didn't
basically he got,
didn't she go
yeah,
in labor while they were
yep,
filming the?
yeah, she was in labor in one of the things, and that's how it happens. It happens like 10 or 15 times you go into labor, and then you just got to kind of go with it. And then is it time to go to the hospital? Is it time to, anybody who's been through that, like you understand,
Mhm.
like this multiple stop start, you're not getting any sleep. As soon as the contractions start, sleep stops, the whole world stops. Like anyway, like I've been through that. Like, but in
Yeah.
any case,
Yeah. Yeah. To maybe recap a little bit. So he gets served, and I watched the video. So the guy just
okay,
throws it at him, right? In that he shows that little video of it. And then yeah, so he quickly starts making a video about it, and then his
right.
wife starts getting contractions. But yeah.
Right. Yeah. So then they have to deal with that and everything else. Anyway, so he had multiple people come out like with like money, right? So one bought him like a website on the cryptocurrency side. I don't know what that was about, but like apparently it helps or whatever that
Yeah,
is.
I have no
And
idea about the crypto side of things.
yeah, like, but it's basically a place like where he could have his
Right.
domain or whatever. Anyway, it's
Yeah.
all to benefit him. And then he also had a GoFundMe or whatever, and then they raised enough money.
Yeah.
And then basically,
$200,000, I believe.
yeah, one hundred K was like from like one dude on top of like him already donating like $1,000, like a really
Yeah.
triple A domain,
Hmm.
excuse me, expensive domain to Atosi's benefit. Anyway, so like he basically was like, look, shit guys, I'm getting hammered. I never asked for help. I never wanted to do anything like this, but could you please help me? And then they did. They came to his rescue and basically built up this fucking massive war chest because again, he was being sued. One, the cost of lawyers, and two, the cost of like 775K from BitBoy to him saying, you run my thing, if not more, whatever. But lawyers got involved, whatever. And anyway, long story short, and basically this BitBoy guy rolled it back. He's like, I didn't anybody. He came out with this like fake ass bravado of like, you know, he's trying to like be like, he's trying to act like any kind of a lawsuit is just like a personal behind the scenes
Right.
thing, and that is not the case at all, you fucking idiot. And then anyway, just everything is disingenuous from like it's just
Mhm.
like Deaf Noodles is like so
Yeah,
anyway.
he
So he's like,
try to make it a win for himself, but it's
right,
obviously a lose. He thought he would bury this no name YouTuber. This is in his mind.
Right.
that this no-name YouTuber, he's going to crush him. The guy wouldn't have any money. He would just roll over him because evidently, BitBoy Crypto, he's a millionaire from all the crypto stuff, allegedly anyway. So he could just roll over him with lawyer fees and all this. He didn't expect Tozy to be able to put out
Step
a
up.
video and then have all the support, like from, like you said, CoffeeZilla,
Right.
Moist Critical, I think, did a video. Some Ordinary Gamer did something on him. Yeah, so they put out the word, and yeah, he was able to raise all this money, and that lawsuit was going to be real. And from I think CoffeeZilla went over all the details, and the guy didn't have a leg to stand on, basically, in the in the lawsuit, so he knew he was going to get a loss on it. And now that Atozy had the money to stand his own in the lawsuit, he goes, "Oh, I didn't mean it. I didn't know
Right.
that this is gonna go blow up and be public. I didn't." Yeah.
All this lot, yeah, all this, I didn't want to make it public and da 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 da. He tried to play it off like whatever, but he called off his lawsuit. So credit to him. At least he has common sense. I will give
Yeah.
BitBoy at least has like common sense of like understanding that like not only will this end him, but he could easily countersue and say, "Look, man, this is bullshit," and at the very least, like really jam him up with like whatever. Because again, and Atozy's very humble about this whole thing. Like he doesn't care about proving a point. He doesn't care about making this. All he wants to do is keep doing his main thing. And he's like, "Look, man, even if I could go up, only the lawyers are going to win." I think he was saying that to kind of help give BitBoy an out a little. I think he's very smart with how he did it. He did call him a dirtbag, and he's right. The guy is a dirtbag, but at the same time, he wasn't getting on a mic and he was just like calm, cool, collected, had a plan, came through with it, and then it ended up like BitBoy backfired hugely anyway. So this is like this whole big cringe corner of like you make this whole big song and dance about this because like it's so funny because Atozy has a thing of he's kind of got this little sub-genre thing going on, like where it's called self-snitching. And he'll basically cover this stupid stupid human pet tricks. Essentially, it's like what he covers like on the YouTube in general, like pop culture, like anything and everything, like from like some thief who wore the same clothing in his robberies to like basically put them two and two together to like it was the same areas that he was filming in, the same cell phone a foot traffic pattern, whatever. Anyway, it's just funny, like so it was a big self snitching. But I just saw that the most cringe-worthy thing, like well you take two of the most like cringe whatever, like you've always heard this guy, like the joke is like you're in a bar and then you hear somebody, the bartender or somebody else hears somebody said Bitcoin, and they're like, "Oh, bro, come here. Like, I got to tell you about all this." Like it's just so cringe. It's like cringe, like back in the day, like when vegetarianism was a big deal, and like everybody would tell you every 5 minutes that they were a vegetarian or whatever. Kind of this whole thing. So this is like this very, very cringe double entendre of cringe for the whole thing. But anyway, I fell into the drain.
I pulled you down into the cringe quarter with me. But yeah, one other thing I would like to pin on this is the fact that and then I think this was in Tozy's first video when he said that he's got sued, was the fact that this BitBoy Crypto, he was basically, what he would do is threaten a lawsuit against anyone that would make a video against him, exposing what he had done in the past, as far as the shady nature of what he was doing with crypto and his sponsors that he was having that he was promoting on his channel, and that's what BitBoy was suing him over. But yeah, so BitBoy would threaten a lawsuit. So a lot of the smaller channels, not wanting to deal with a lawsuit, would quickly take it down. And Tozy actually stood up and was like, "No, I'm not doing that. Even if this costs me a lot of money, Tozy's a great guy, and he also has a very, very solid and a courageous backbone in standing up to the guy.
And he has a gold-plated community because of what he does and how he acts, and that kind of thing. Like where he's not necessarily a white knight, I wouldn't say, but he definitely has a following. And when he covers something, he's just covering it for entertainment. So he's not trying to like hammer somebody in the ground. He's also been very open, where he won't push somebody on an interview or whatever. I've seen him do that too, but he's not trying to get like whatever. He's just trying to get their side of whatever, and like he'll let them say whatever they want, like whatever, and like you can only hear so much of it. Like if the subject that he's talking to is extremely stupid, or very low IQ, but he's a lot more forgiving than I am. I probably would have at least cut the war chest in half and been like, you know what? You started this. I'm going to finish it, and it's going to be very painful for you, and it'll be painful for me too. But you decided that you wanted to go here and be here, and if I have the money and the funds, like why not? But credit to him, he's probably smarter to not do that. But just live your life, and that's very easy. If you just have a new baby, you want nothing. You just want to keep on keeping on, and that's a fair point too. But if you're a little bit further on in life, and you have like, all right, I got some spare times. You know what? Let's fucking put some quarters in the machine and let's go.
Right. Yeah. And also to Tozy, he also said that he was going to donate whatever he didn't use for the lawsuit to charity, but since he didn't use any of the money, he did end up refunding it all back.
He just gave it back. And that's a perfectly valid thing. He was above board and whatever. Although I would say that it does cost him a little bit more work. But he's down for it, so he's all good. He's got a great. It'll be fun to kind of see him evolve for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And obviously he probably isn't watching, but if he is, good luck with your new family, and lots of luck. Your channel, like I said, at the very beginning, I saw something there, and not that I had anything to do with it, but now it's to the point where it's a great channel, and lots of luck to you.
Mazel tov. To your dad. Congrats, Dad. There's nothing better in life than being a dad. I'll just say that's just one very fun aspect of life. So mazel tov.
So this week we had a combo cringe pack here for the cringe corner. It is extra big. I didn't expect our cringe corner to blow up so much, and this is new for us. We don't normally focus this heavily on this on the grab bag. Let us know what you think. I know maybe we might pick up a few extra viewers covering this, so like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think and what we could do better. Obviously, any criticisms good. If it's constructive, even better.
And just remember, if you put a dislike on there, you're a stupid head. I'm just kidding, but like
Mike's edgy guy. I'm the nice one. I'm the good cop, he's the bad cop. It's a whole deal.
This is definitely part of Nerdom for sure. And both you and I, and not just us, but like our generations, I should say, depending upon where you make mark and stupid this Gen X or friggin' millennial, whatever.
According to YouTube and internet culture, I'm what they would call a boomer, but I'm actually Gen X.
Right. Yeah, I'm like just depending upon where you drop the line, it doesn't matter. But I'd say this is part of the nerd. But we both get quite a bit of our entertainment from YouTube, so this is just natural every day for us. So like that, to find things of this magnitude are just very interesting, like for sure.
Right. And this is again our grab bag show. We just throw in a bunch of stuff that we're interested in throughout the nerddom, and just pull it out and talk about it. It could be about comic books, TV shows, movies. We try to stay nerd focused, but if we go out on the outskirts a couple of times, but I think YouTube is where the nerds live. Maybe a few incels, maybe a few
Yeah, right. Yeah, Reddit, Reddit YouTuber, whatever.
Yeah.
Horseshit.
Right. And also, if you have a suggestion for a cringe quarter, by all means, you could suggest one. But yeah, it's quickly becoming my favorite segment here. But I don't know about you, Mike.
Yeah, I dig it. I dig it. Like I said, like YouTube, like the thing is that if you are gonna make any kind of a video on YouTube, you are already a nerd. So like
Right.
the
Yeah.
normies, but then it's blown up so much. But anyway, with that, we jump into our news, covering the culture. I just
Yep.
hit this one randomly, but if you wanted to
Yeah.
do this
Hey,
one, hop in this one.
that's what the grab bag's about. Just reaching in and just grabbing something at random.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So legendary artist Alex Ross, he's coming out with a Fantastic Four graphic novel. I think it's in a month or two, maybe this month. I guess the article will say
Really?
here. But yeah, it's the first graphic novel that's not published by Marvel. Marvel's letting another publisher publish it, and it's fully illustrated and written by Alex Ross. Alex is yeah he did the oh gosh, I forget the name of the DC comic he did. I guess probably the article will say, but he's um I should have read the article a little bit more in detail, I guess. But yeah, he's a famous artist. He's done quite a few covers, but he's also done some legendary work for DC and Marvel. And yeah, it looks like September 6th. So this
For
coming
sure.
week. Um
Very cool.
yeah, so this Tuesday it comes out, and yeah, it's he's a fantastic artist. I don't he's probably a decent writer. I can't say fully because I haven't read anything by Alex Ross, but yeah, if this looks something cool to check out. I'm not really excited about the the new writer for Fantastic Four that they announced, the creator of Squirrel Girl. For some reason I have trouble saying Squirrel Girl. Saying that together is a little tricky, but yeah,
Sounded fine to me.
I'm not real keen on that writer or that character, so I'm not really enthused about the new Fantastic Four. And I was looking for a new fix for Fantastic Four, so this may be it for me. This may be a quick pickup for me.
That's very cool. Very cool. Yeah, definitely look for it. If it hits the rack and you pick it up and it's good, it'll be even
Yep.
better to hear about it for sure.
Yep.
And with that, we go on to oh boy. And so Winnie the Pooh is free for the public to own. The public owns it now.
Yeah, it's entered public domain. So so people quickly made a Winnie the Pooh horror movie, and now Disney still owns trademark, so you can't make something that looks exactly like what Disney does.
Disney's. Yeah.
Yeah, but the characters are free reign. So yeah, I believe this story wise it's basically Christopher Robin showing back up after years of abandoning the uh 7 Acre Woods or whatever it's called, and trying to track back down Winnie the Pooh and Piglet, and they've gone rogue and wild and
Yeah.
are killing people. And, I watched the trailer. We won't show it because we don't want a strike or anything. But yeah, my God, it's horrible. it's
Yeah. I
it's
can imagine
very
that.
very very bad. But yeah, it may be a cringe watch. It may be in a future cringe corner. I don't know.
Maybe.
I I'm not. I don't know. It's
Cool.
possible.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopping over here. I've wondered about this because I've seen like anybody, I have like my news feed or whatever, and every once in a while this will pop up in the pop news culture section of it, like who's going to be the next James Bond? Is it
Yeah.
going to be Idris Elba, or is it going to be Henry Cavill, or is it going to be, I can't remember the other guys that
Right.
they write or they pump up articles about that are all bullshit. But in any case,
Mhm.
Is this a little bit closer to reality here? Getting for who the next one will be.
I don't know. It's possible. I just was thinking Henry Cavill can do no wrong. In
Yeah, I agree with that.
I really loved him in the from The Man Called Uncle. Did you see that movie a
I
few
did
years
not
back?
see that.
It's
Uh-uh.
it's a really good movie, and kind of proves that he could kind of pull off sort of a agent sort of thing. But yeah, that movie's a definite recommend, and maybe we could visit that on a future main podcast. But yeah, I would love to see him as James Bond, and I know Idris Elba. I may have messed up his name a little bit. Has
Sounds right.
been whispered about maybe being a James Bond. I have no trouble with seeing him as a James
I
Bond.
I am such a fan of his. Like, the only thing
Mhm.
I haven't seen of his, which I think is, I don't know, in his career, it was a while ago, but it was this, he played Luther, I think, on the BBC or something like that. I don't know. It was a crime drama or something like that. But
Yep.
aside from that, but like every movie he's
Yep.
been in Prometheus, he's been in Thor, he's been in he's been everywhere. But he's a great, every time he shows up, I love his presence. I love his acting. Just like Henry Cavill, to me, the same thing. Idris Elba can never do anything bad.
Right.
But I
Exactly.
will say that I did, because we've been soaking up a lot of Amazon Prime Video lately,
Uh,
and and because of that, as a result, like one of the ads they played before I watched one of the movies that we may or may not cover here, The Samaritan with Sylvester Stallone, but there was an ad for the next 007 movie or whatever, something like, not the next one, but like I guess the last one. I didn't even know it was
right.
out. So like I'm
Mhm.
very happy to see that. It looks really badass. So I'm kind of like an old school James Bond fan. But anyway, but the very apropos
Yeah.
to cover it. But it's
Yeah.
just very interesting. We'll see. We'll see. So this is just bookie odds makers, but like
Right. Right.
I'd say if anybody was like down, it'd be Tom Hardy. That's the other guy who they would always talk about.
And I
So it's just funny. Like this is total
yeah.
like navel gazing.
Right. Right. Exactly. Yeah. But at least they're all British. So that's a good thing.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and they'll do great. They'll do great. And then I saw this. I saw your link to this. But
Yeah.
what's going on with Mr. Cavill? And is it gonna come back? Superman.
Well, industry insiders say 100%, but who
That's
knows?
what I've heard as well. Like for what
Yeah.
they're trying to do for the broader structure of DC and on the big screen.
Yeah. And I full-heartedly welcome that. If
Me too.
I'm absolutely sure DC's severed ties with Snyder, so it won't be a Snyder Superman. But I think even if they soften the edges and make Superman more the traditional all-American superhero guy, Henry Cavill could pull that off. So without the edge of his previous roles as Superman. But yeah, I look forward to that. And if you notice that the news a little less edgy, or there wasn't a whole lot of news this week, so
Yeah, it
outside
finally slow down. Yeah.
internet drama. So yeah, I was just kind of pulling things out. So yeah, we're just kind of touching upon some of the kind of fun things that we see here. But yeah, not a lot to say about this one.
Yeah. Work. I did see this. I did see a whole cacophony of YouTube videos, and we'll get into this a little bit later in the
Yeah,
week. But
right.
I do have my thoughts on it. Like now that I've seen the first episode, and I actually started, and I'm through the first quarter of episode 2. Um, so I'm getting through it. But I definitely have some thoughts. And
Mhm.
honestly, like I think I would have had a better time to watch it had I been able to share with my kiddos. There's just
Mhm.
something cool about being able to like kind of just see, even if you have no interest in it, or kind of, or you have an interest in it or whatever, but you're quite, maybe not quite enough to go to it, aside from like if you have a podcast and you're covering something like it.
Right,
Like
right.
nobody's gonna watch it aside from that. So yeah, they did. And you know what, I actually went to my I think it was Hypnosis. He's a hate watcher, so don't bother like going and looking him up, whatever. But he was like through that and Midnight Edge, through some of the more ones. Like I saw them, they were all talking about this, and like sure enough, if you pull up any other web page of Amazon Prime, I might as well do it now while we're talking. But if you do that, the normal Amazon Prime, I should do Prime Video. Yeah, so like if you just do like like just like Dune, it has a star rating. The star rating is basically and I don't want to play this too long, but like the star rating is basically Amazon's, like what I can, like if I click on this, like I can rate it myself or whatever. But when you go to Dune,
Ring
you
of
see
Rings of Power. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh
when you
yeah.
go to there is no
Oh wow.
check it out. It's been like ish or whatever on the only thing it does is like a pass through IMDb one, whatever. But it's interesting. It's just interesting because they clearly locked down. I don't know what I mean. So
yeah. And the onus is on Amazon. They majorly mishandled the promotion of this movie. They majorly fumbled the ball, and really their promotion of this was very extremely tone deaf and not very smart at all. We'll get into it maybe later on our
oh
main
yeah, we will.
main cast, but yeah, it's they fumbled the ball. They only have themselves to blame for this. They're going to blame the trolls of the internet, but I think yeah, it is what it is, and Amazon's made their bed and they have to lie in it for this
Yeah,
one.
I this is one of those things like where they should have said nothing. They should have said nothing. They should have never pick a fight with the fans. Just don't do it. There's and the sad part is like and then we won't get into like the whole wider coverage of it, but I will comment on it a little bit. There's enough there that it would have been fine anyway. You know what I mean? Like more than likely, it probably would have been fine. It probably would, like you just take your whatever. Who cares about what they do? Whatever, you ignore it and you just promote the hell out of it. I don't know about you, but in my home office, like weeks up to here, and I keep meaning to mention it to you, but like I live in a subdivision, suburbs, whatever, nothing special, like everybody else, like a lot of people else do. But I see Amazon come through, like when they do their deliveries, and like probably about a month ago, and then they do different paint schemes on the Amazon delivery vans or whatever. But lately, like swear to God, last 3 weeks or so, I've seen this repeated. I don't think it's the same. I don't know. I have no way of knowing if it's the same van. It's probably not. But the vans that come through, like at least a third of them will have some kind of Power of the Rings friggin' advertising on the vans that are delivering their products everywhere. So they are all in on the thing. So like that's just the thing, is like it was going to be everywhere anyway. Right. I just don't understand like why you gotta like don't just right above it. Like I don't. There's just no. I mean,
right.
There's just no need to antagonize.
No.
Like let them be hornets. Let them let them be the ones that are overreacting and that are doing this and doing that. It's not going to change people. Like the normies don't. They just don't. It's not the same.
Right.
They could have, and they're still going to win anyway. I mean, that's just the thing. Is like you knew that they were going to win, whether it's good or bad or indifferent, whatever, somewhere in between. Like it's not. I mean, it's not a. I'll go on the record and say it's not a piece of cardboard, and like 5 3-year-olds trying to like make a play and like, look, mommy, look, daddy. It's not like that at all. It's not,
Right.
I'll get off my soapbox there for a second.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, and I think I enjoyed it much more than you did, but I'm not
There's
deep
for
in
me
the lore of Lord of the Rings, but
yeah,
yeah,
for
as
me
a
for me
casual.
personally,
Mhm.
yeah, I didn't I didn't hate anything, like, well, let me just
Mhm.
get off that right off the bat, like, and I have
Mhm.
some commentary on that for our main show, but
Right.
um uh yeah. It's not like it's the end of the world or something, like I don't see that at all. Like I don't see like that's why this is exactly why I like to have my YouTube thing. Like I know my guilty pleasures, like the hate watch thing, like I'll dip into or whatever. But like I also have a whole way more people that are just kind of wherever they're at,
Right.
and those are the more of the normal reviews that I would expect than somebody pushing a point again for
Or
one
agenda.
or the
Yeah.
other,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Right. Yeah, and
so yeah, they
there's money in hate watching and making videos geared towards that. So yeah, no shame on anyone's hustle.
Yeah, so yeah, you're either caught in their hype machine or you're caught in somebody else's hype machine.
Absolutely.
It's
But
just so stupid.
we're completely unbiased. We have no agenda here at the Nerdom except for the
I
nerd
don't.
agenda. So
It's very it's very easy. Like if something is political or not political, or you should be on this team or that team. Like it's very easy for me to kind of push back and be like, I don't really care. Like
Mhm.
at the end of the
Yeah.
day, like if I have a good time and I can sit and share it with my kids, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. It might be
Right.
garbage. It might be
Right.
garbage. It might be a garbage movie that I love that I'm sharing with them. Like Iron Eagle, or
Mhm.
whatever. I'm just
Yeah.
kind of pulling out of thin air or whatever. But I don't know, like that. It just seems like nobody can like screw you if you want to have a peaceful thought in your head. I think like
Right.
that's kind of like what the enemy is. But anyway, moving on. I love this. I love anything related to boys. Like I'm here
Yeah.
for it, as the kids say, or as the Facebook moms say, I am here for it.
Yep. Yep. And sorry, I don't have the can. I have the cup with the monster. So I'm all in on the energy drink. I don't know if it'll pull me over and get me to try the compound V, but yeah, I think they have a picture of the can down below there. But yeah. So yeah, this is kind of
Oh, they don't. Oh, that sucks.
uh
That's I guess that's my ad blocker, whatever. So
oh,
blame
okay.
me. Whatever. I'll look it
Yeah.
up here in a minute while you talk about it.
But yeah, it's basically kind of a fluff piece about uh yeah, let's see, fuel energy G fuel. If you're familiar with a lot of the YouTube people out there, a lot of them kind of shill G fuel, and we're not above that. If G Fuel wants us to sponsor us, that we're all for it. But yeah, they've got a deal with the boys to sponsor their version of Compound V, and
That's funny.
yeah, I'm curious what the flavor is, but yeah, I know.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know a lot of YouTubers talk about it. I wouldn't if I'd found a canned version of it in the store, I would definitely give it a shot. But I have not tried G Fuel. Have you,
Oh,
Mike, had a chance?
no, I haven't, and I'm just being honest. Like, I have no desire to taste sour lemon lime aid or whatever the hell it is. And if anything, I'm just being honest. Like, if I did anything with this, it would be I would immediately dump it out in the garbage, and then I would rinse out the container, and then I would put the container up on the thing like a little, trophy or something. I don't know, but uh,
You're being the bad cop. Shh. We're trying to get a sponsor here, man. We're trying to get a sponsor. That's
yeah,
no way to talk. Okay, yeah. So,
you're
so
right. I'm
again,
sorry. I'm a comedian.
okay, I tell jokes.
I can just lie off through my teeth, and it's a joke.
Well, you're
But
turning into
anyway,
a super villain, Mike. Got to throw you in the corner with BitBoy Crypto and Def Noodles, the comedian.
Oh, I'm sure I have definitely been thrown in Facebook jail quite a few times, so I'm sure it'll whatever the equivalent will be the same. Anyway, moving on to the Star Wars bad. So, like, I bet you were excited to see this.
Yeah, actually, it's coming out faster than I thought. Comes out at the end of the month, the second season. I'm very
Oh, wow.
excited. Yeah, I was kind of shocked at how fast it's come out, and that's another good thing about having so many good shows to watch is like as soon as one ends, another one starts. I finished up this weekend. I finished up the Sandman. I finished up Umbrella Academy, and I finished up the new season of Peaky Blinders, and so I'm
Nice.
looking for some new stuff to watch, and along with the House of Dragons and Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. I've got the Bad Batch, so I've got all the check marks on all the streaming services, and I'm
Good,
sure
good.
they all love me. But yeah, so Bad Batch season was great. If you're into Star Wars, I'd recommend it. I would recommend watching Clone Wars as well. This is sort of branching off away from Clone Wars, and there's some of the characters kind of overlap. But yeah, this is a group of clone troopers that didn't get the memo for was it the 66? What was it called? The
Order 66.
Order 66. They didn't get the memo. They're
Execute
rogue.
Order
Yeah,
66.
they didn't have the they weren't wired for it, or I forget how they explained it, but yeah, so they're off on their own with the a little girl clone that they have that they're protecting as well. She's sort of a special clone, and so yeah, they're running across the galaxy, sort of a ragtag team. They're not attached to the rebels. They're doing their own thing. But yeah, the first season's well worth watching, and I'm looking forward to the second season. The only point I'll say is, and this is probably true for a lot of American animated series, is that the young character is supposed to be, I guess, the tie-in for the younger audience, and she's very annoying. She knows everything. She's a bit of a Mary Sue, but it is what it is. You could overlook that. The story writing's pretty good, and it's very much Star Wars. So if you want a Star Wars fix that isn't kind of hamstringing it, this is a good bet for you.
Very cool. Yeah. I am I'm a sci-fi refugee, so I've moved everything over to Dune, so and other
Yeah.
properties. So like, it's great. I'll live vicariously through you.
Yep.
And the normies, again, like I said before, if there's something significant for me to track back to watch something or one or two or three things on Star Wars, then I will, but not until then. But in any case, and God bless you. Like, that's awesome. Like, I really do need to try to give Clone Wars a watch through myself and see if anything catches. But it happened. It definitely happened with my nephew, little like when he was that age, he loved it. Him and his
Yeah.
cousin loved it. But
Yeah.
it was just
If
all kinds of great quality too.
yeah, if you weren't really into Hayden Christensen's characterization of Anakin, I believe the voice actor and the animators that did Anakin on the series will make you actually enjoy the character. But
Awesome.
yeah, and then also just a side note, since we're talking about Disney, I did not. I watched the first two episodes of She-Hulk. I kind of skipped out on the third episode because I started seeing the picture, and there, I guess there's a scene where She-Hulk twerks.
Yes.
And I that just kind of turned me off. I don't need to see She-Hulk twerking, and I think they're taking in a route that I don't know if I could follow. It was barely tolerable. I was being nice with it last week, because it was just fluff that I could kind of watch. But after watching the amazing ending of Peaky Blinders, and after watching the end of Umbrella Academy and Sandman, all excellent series, and then
Well,
you have House of the Dragon.
yep, yep,
I could
yep.
not, I could not make the time for She-Hulk this week, so I don't know
Huh?
when I
Huh?
will.
No, that's what I've heard is even in the folks that are not even culture warrior watchers or at all are just
Mhm,
like, yeah, kind of done with it, move on.
mhm.
But interesting. Yeah, I saw that tweak or what or twerking.
Working.
That's what the yeah,
Yeah.
whatever. I was like, you know what? This is exactly why I stay out from the outside.
Yeah.
Unless there's a pressing need to cover it, like I'm just not going to be there. So like, I'm just like,
Mhm.
nope, move on. Move on to the next thing. Move on to something a little bit more in line. Actually, I'm more excited to watch Sandman and catch up on that. I want to watch.
Yep.
But I want to do it right. I want to do the comic, and then I want to do the show. But
Right, right.
that's
And I was kind of reading and watching. Actually, I recommend got book one
supposed
of
to be really, really
Sandman.
good.
Mhm. Yeah, I
Yeah, it's
read
supposed
it.
to be really, really good.
Yeah, I read it when it originally came out. I was a teenager, and I really enjoyed it. At the time when I was a teenager, I loved fantasy, and then when I got older, into my late teens, I got into horror. And the Sandman comic book, Neil Gaiman, the writer, he has a really good mix of fantasy and horror, and he really knows how to mix those. And that was kind of revolution to me because I was used to reading Stephen King horror, which is basically a evil presence invading usually a family dynamic. There's sort of like the good family, and then there's this evil presence that comes in. Whereas the Sandman kind of turns it on its head. There's a lot of fantastical elements to it that introduces horror, but it's not your traditional story. It's very interesting. Your main character's the Lord of Dreams,
Mhm.
and so yeah, off the bat you've got a unique protagonist, and yeah, and I'd recommend because it's almost one for one. The Each episode is almost a issue or two of the comic book, so it's yeah, maybe watch a few episodes and then read some of the issues. It's really amazing how much they take from the comic book. A lot of the lines, a lot of the structure of the story, and obviously you can't do one for one. You can't make a TV
Right.
show exactly like the comic book, because you're dealing with a 20-page comic book, you're dealing with an hour-long episode. You're going to have to add scenes, you're going to have to do a lot more character development. You can get away with a kind of not going too deep into characters in a comic book where it's more action based, more ideas, whereas
Right.
the TV series is more character based, more story based, developing of the story and dialogue. So you're really going to have to beef that up. But they do a wonderful job of translating the comic book into a TV series, and it's 10 episodes. And then Netflix gave us a bonus and dropped us a bonus episode, which is basically 2 issues of the comic book, sort of standalone issues that aren't in with the main continuity of the story. One of them's animated and one's live action, and those are really great as well. I definitely recommend it. There's certain aspects of the show that they changed, that they could have probably kept the same in the show, which I had sort of issues with. But yeah, overall, they did a great job. And the what I was going to say something else, but now I've run a blank. But yeah, overall, I was going to say that it is the DC comic book, and some of the issues kind of some of them deal take place. A part of them takes place in Arkham Asylum, and some of the Disney or DC characters are in the comic book. So they kind of surgically remove those from the show, which
Okay.
makes sense because it's Netflix. I'm sure they didn't want to. I guess there's probably going to be some rights issues probably if they included them in, or that have to make special contracts. So it's best that they kind of leave that aside. They do cheekily put in like maybe a few DC action figures in one scene, and they well, at one point a kid's watching some cartoons, and it's some DC superhero comics. So
Awesome. Yeah, sorry. Puppy was like she was having a bad dream, so she was listening, so I felt
yeah,
bad for her.
he did.
She really
Yeah,
misses the kiddos, but anyway, very cool. Yeah,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
I
I
can't
thought,
wait to
yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
I thought we might be having a new co-host.
Yeah, we might. She's a good girl. She's just she's had, like when dogs have those nightmares and then they start to
Oh yeah,
react or
Twitch,
whatever.
and
It's like,
yeah,
oh, yeah, oh come on, come here.
exactly. Yeah.
All right. Cool. Yeah, the Sandman comics, and it's out now on Netflix, like you were saying.
Mhm.
With that bonus episode, even better. For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Takiti, I'm not even gonna. You do it better than I do.
Yeah, Waititi. He's looks like he's
Yeah, Waititi.
out. Yeah, Tiki Waititi. Yeah, he's out. The rumor says that he's out. He's not doing Thor number 5 after the dismal, um, abysmal, as they say, critical response to the last Thor
Right.
movie, Love and Thunder. And
Didn't watch it.
yeah, neither one of us has seen it. I'll probably watch it
We
once it
talked
hits
about it.
Disney. Yeah, I'll watch it on Disney. I don't know if we'll do anything on here. Maybe
Maybe
say
not.
maybe say something in passing at least. But yeah, I don't have any hopes for I have heard nothing but bad about Thor 4. So I understand why
Mhm.
they're picking someone else for the new movie. Because Thor, everybody loves Thor, so there's no reason why this shouldn't have been a blockbuster, and it wasn't.
Yeah, I started hear rumblings around something around like Thor 2 was better. Or
Wow,
people were
yeah,
entertaining that it was better, like that was like kind of like a miss, if there is such a thing in the Marvel world. But anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on it. But
yeah. It actually,
yeah,
I actually kind of enjoy Thor 2, so I know I'm one of the
I
very few.
I didn't have a problem with it. Like, was it as good as the
Yeah.
first? I mean, it's different levels there, but
Mhm.
that's when you kind of go back to like where when it was good and nobody knew about it, or not necessarily that nobody knew about it, but it was like young and fresh and like they didn't quite know
Right,
what would work.
right, and
Just like Iron Man,
yeah,
the first Thor was beautiful like that.
yeah.
But I mean, it wasn't like awesome, but it was all right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I really loved the comic books series that it was based on. So maybe that kind of shaded it as well. I
Right.
enjoyed seeing that on the screen, and they did a pretty decent representation
Yeah,
of it.
that was very back. Nowadays, there's no such thing as an independent superhero. No, 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 no. They don't do that anymore. They got to have some kind of tie-in, and like they don't do those anymore. So
Right.
anyway, but moving on.
Yeah. Yeah.
DC Comics.
Oh, DC Comics really fumbled the ball.
Let's
Hispanic
talk about
Heritage Month. They
their.
I think these are covers that they're going to be putting out, and kind of reducing Latinos down to food.
So they are breakfast tacos, like the first lady says they are.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you I don't know if they have a better image of the Green Lantern one. Maybe scroll down and see if they got a bigger, or if it's clickable. I don't know.
We'll make it big
But
here,
yeah.
or not. That's so funny.
But yeah, if you notice, he's holding up a flag that says "Viva Mex."
Males.
Yeah, there you go. He's got a bag of tamales, and he's got the flag screaming "Viva Mexico." But if you're familiar with Spanish, that's totally wrong. You should have some upside down exclamation points at the beginning of your sentence. if you're going to be writing correct Spanish. So the Hispanic Green Lantern, shame on you for getting your flag wrong. And then I don't know, he just went to the corner market and got some tamales as well.
Yeah.
And he's decided to hold up his flag and his tamales, and then
Well, they're hot. They're hot
yeah.
like a tamale.
And the hawk lady, she's working hard for her money. She's working in a Mexican restaurant serving food for some reason. I don't know. I guess there was no crime to fight that day, and she wanted to earn a few extra dollars. And then I guess that's a Blue Beetle. I'm not sure what the superhero is. He's eating him some tacos, I believe.
Yeah, it
Hanging
looks
out,
like it. Yeah.
falling off a building. I don't know.
I
Maybe the taco had a little extra kick to it. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what's going on there, but well, it looks like he's eating too. But in any case, like, apparently Latinos, Hispanic people are only good as breakfast tacos. So screw
And
them
now,
for being one dimensional. Like that's horrible, horrible.
absolutely, and Hispanic Heritage Week, and then that Green Lantern one is not the original art. If you scroll down, they've edited it. That's their edit. If you scroll down, I think the reason why they edited it was too close to another famous song. Yeah, I think if you scroll down, it should show it.
I have my ad
It's
blocker.
okay.
Like
Gotcha,
it won't show certain social media. It just won't show certain things. Like when I say, oh, maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, this.
But yeah, it's
Twitter.
basically there's a famous painting that it's based off of, and the original one is a lot closer to the original painting. And so the artist that did it is Hispanic, and he disowns this cover. He hates what DC has done to it, obviously. So yeah, it's a bit of a it's a very tone deaf for DC, and they've been rightfully scorned on Twitter about it. And yeah, it's one of those things where if you're going to go in on I guess the word would be woke, if you're going to be woke and kind of represent different heritages, you need to get it right. You really do need to get it right, and not just be giving lip service to this. You know, there's no
Yeah.
A for effort.
Yeah.
You really have to stick the landing.
There's either a Twitter account, an Instagram account, or a YouTube account or whatever. But basically what the guy did was he took all of the Pride Month like companies. He just picked a few of them, and he did like 11:59 p.m. like here is June, and then here's July, and then like literally like as the clock turned, like they all went back to like
Oh, well,
non-pride. It's just like it's such a joke.
yeah,
Just such a
yeah.
reach for virtue signaling or whatever you want to call it, or like
Right.
just inauthentic for sure.
Yeah, and you don't even have to do that on the end of the month. Just get on a VPN and go to a country where maybe they're not as liberated and are in mind of Pride Month, and look at their Twitter account under that VPN. It doesn't have a pride flag on it. In other countries that aren't maybe don't appreciate our welcoming nature to all.
Just Twitter. There's a DC editorial be like white people taco night. There's like a stupid social media song that's like white people taco night. And anyway, it's just like stupid lyrics and like things that you get from the grocery store, and just making fun of like that. Just the same tone deafness. Anyway,
Yeah, absolutely.
So rolling into the laughs, your YouTube recommendation this week is lasagnacat, and I remember this from like years and years and years ago. I don't recall anything other than that, but
yeah, the last post was 5 years ago. So RIP lasagnacat. This is a oldie but a goodie, and I don't know if everybody knows about it, so I definitely want to recommend it. Basically, the guy takes one of Garfield's comic strips and then reads it, and then goes from there. Kind of expands the story from that comic strip, and he and there's a couple of minute ones, and I think there's some that are hour long. They
Yeah.
go off on a kind of a crazy delirium filled dream like landscape in some of these videos. And yeah, if you like Adult Swim, the weirder side of Adult Swim, you'll love some of these videos. I don't know if you want to click on one of these, see what's going on with it. I don't think we'll get copyright struck by lasagnacat if we did. Oh yeah, I think you got it real slow because enough noodles, but yeah. But yeah, some of them are a little bit more involved in this. But I think that's probably more
I pick, of course, I pick a bad one. But anyway, yeah. Just check this out for sure.
yeah. We'll let you kind of deep dive. I guess not safe for work warning on some of these. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, that's cool. Yeah, I don't have a YouTube recommendation this week other than a Tozy, which I kind of already covered.
Yep.
But aside from that, like I think that brings us up to the end of the grab bag. Like this,
I think so. Yeah.
This is actually what I was anticipating at some point. Like the news would slow down, and now we're kind of caught in the shadow of like two massive shows that are on, amongst others that will be coming on. But like we are in a very good time to be fans and to be nerds, and somewhere in between, for sure.
Yeah. And the good thing is we kind of stuffed this bag really full. There's stuff that we are not be able to get to, and maybe we'll get into later episodes, and that's a good thing to have, to be able to, instead of just us kind of staring deep into each other's eyes without anything
Right.
to say,
Or-
which
or
would be uncomfortable for both of us as well as the audience, I believe.
Well, and I always amused myself by like thinking about what it looks like from my dog's perspective, because I work from home, and like
Yeah.
my dog must think that I'm like half crazy because half the time I'm talking into like thin air, so like
right.
from her perspective, like she thinks that I'm like, wait, humans are strange. Like he just sits there and he just talks there forever, he just barks at the screen forever.
Absolutely.
Well,
Yeah.
with that being said, I think we're coming up to the end here, to the caboose.
Yep.
In the grab
And
bag.
so yeah, and to kind of put a bow on it, we're putting um BitBoy Crypto and Dennis Def Noodles, the comedian, into our supervillains Hall of Fame for the for the cringe corner. It's and then again, we'll bring back the cringe corner whenever it's needed. It's not going to be like a weekly thing. Congratulations to you that's made it to the end here. I know we're kind of schizophrenic a little bit in this episode. We kind of covered some stuff that we don't normally. If you're new to this channel, welcome. Hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you.
If you dipped out early on after we covered the internet stuff, that's cool. You're not listening anymore. But our hardcore fans, hey to you. And yeah, we'll see you next week. And we'll be out of here.
We'll see you.
See ya.